Welcome. If you agree with the title of this video, hit like and subscribe. I promise I won't disappoint. The buzzwords aren't going to work here, and news coverage is not enough. Donald Trump is fully prepared to take us to World War III if he's not allowed to annex Canada and Greenland. And on top of that, he has fully and completely aligned politically and economically with Russia. The end game here is Donald Trump goes down in history as the most powerful leader in the history of the United States. And he's willing to stop at nothing. Just for backstory, I am a registered independent, I am not a libertarian, and I am not a neoliberal. I have 3 principles and 1 caveat: freedom, fairness, and opportunity, and if none of those make sense, then follow the money. Tariffs are not free. They are the opposite of free market. Tariffs are not fair because we have an agreement with Mexico and Canada already regarding trade, as well as many other agreements and treaties with nations around the world, both through direct relationships and international diplomacy and other organizations like the UN and the World Health Organization. Major precedent has been set recently by the Supreme Court, acknowledging that the federal firings of all those people in the government are illegal, and that congressional funding for USAID must be carried out. But it's just a small win, if you even consider it that, and your social safety net is next. Social Security will be cut. It's not legal for it to be cut. It's not right for it to be cut, because any money you get is literally your money that's already been paid into that program. But legalities, realities, and facts will not stop this administration. Medicaid will be cut. SNAP benefits will be eliminated. Coverages will be eliminated. Attachments will be made that make you have to have a job. For example, if you are completely disabled, you'll have to have a job to get Medicaid. These are things that are going to be completely necessary, because if we cut $880 billion from Medicaid and Medicare, there's nothing left.
No one would be covered.
Medicare will be cut. Programs will be eliminated. Coverages will be decimated. And it could be just deleted altogether, except maybe Medicare Part A. And at this point, we might as well highlight our stars of the day, Barrett and Roberts. They stood on the right side of history to recognize that checks and balances exist. And since we're making recognitions, we need to recognize most of the Democrats. They are our cowards of the day. Plain and simple, no action has been taken. And before you get mad at me in the comments, this man will be censured because he did protest. This man made a video immediately after he walked out of the presidential address. And representatives like these folks are definitely being vocal and fighting a little bit. They're attempting to use the news cycle and their knowledge of how social media works to get their message out. But other than that, the Democrats are cowards right now. No action has been taken. They've given us no direction on what to do, and they're probably pretty satisfied at this point, regardless of how mad they pretend to be. They're only allowed to pretend to be a little bit mad because of where their funding comes from. Insurance companies, big banks, and other superpowers of industry are who the Democrats are siding with right now. That's why they're not saying anything. That's why when one person blocks the door of a government agency, they all pretend to be appalled, but they don't make any physical threat. Is there a problem with getting arrested trying to fight for what's right? Ask a Democrat and they'll be more than happy to tell you, yes, we will never get arrested. Our campaign funds are more important. Democratic leaders have aligned with their sources of funding and not with you. They are not like us. Let me play you a clip from Russ Vought you may have seen in the news recently.
We want the bureaucrats to be traumatically affected. We want, when they wake up in the morning, we want them to not want to go to work.
This is how Republican Congress people need to feel, and only the American people can apply that pressure. We need to physically ambush them wherever they are. They need to feel completely uncomfortable to appear in public ever for any reason. We need to make them so severely uncomfortable with the decisions they're making right now that they'll begin to realize what impacts this will have on democracy and the future of this country. And the final pressure for Republican Congresspeople needs to be to impeach the president. You may have decided to tune out as soon as you heard the election results. But because of that, World War III may happen before the midterm. Dictatorship is where we are headed, and diplomacy-wise, we will be attacked on our own home soil. You will be more worried about drone strikes than dinner in less than 2 years if you don't act now. Donald Trump wants Russia to be allowed to annex Ukraine as a specific example of a modern shift in international diplomacy, where we annex Greenland and Canada and Panama. This is not about groceries. This is about being the biggest bully on earth for as long as possible with no regard for the consequences. And it's less than 2 years away. A tweet is not going to do it. A letter is not going to do it. In fact, it is my opinion that any individual willing to resist this administration in any way is an absolute coward for opening, scrolling through, responding to, or checking Twitter in any way. You are a coward. You are more afraid for your following than you are for the freedom of this country. You are a narcissistic coward. If you fear losing your following more than losing democracy, why are you an elected official and not some Instagram influencer peddling GNC products? And the fact that you're not doing that and not telling other people to do it is even more cowardly. If you have power and influence on Twitter, it should be your goal to end Twitter. It's the reason we're here. October of 2022, when Elon Musk bought Twitter, and the fact that you still have an account is the reason we're here. I deleted my account in October of 2022. How did you not see this coming? By staying on Twitter and responding to people on Twitter, you are actively contributing to funding authoritarianism, dictatorship, and the collapse of democracy worldwide. Yes, you, as well as the perpetual movement towards World War III. So what do? First, stop buying anything you don't need. Don't take a vacation this year. Don't buy unnecessary services. Don't buy a new car or a new home. Find other ways to stimulate your serotonin levels. That's your tariff on Trump. Nothing will convince a small business owner to change his vote like the loss of his business. And there are a lot of small business owners out there that voted for Trump specifically to avoid taxation. If the taxation was so bad and you can't already write off every single thing that you could possibly imagine that you purchased and can prove, and you need more cuts, well, democracy is about to be cut. Your way of life is about to be cut. It's going to be drones over dinner. And if you haven't noticed, there is absolutely nothing but pointless rhetoric and excuses being directed towards the other reason you might have voted for him, and that's cheaper groceries. It's not going to happen. He wants Greenland and Canada and Panama and complete and total world power, not over just us as Americans, but over the entire planet. He is willing to collapse markets, make people suffer and die, and end every positive relationship the United States has earned throughout history, so he can be known as the most powerful dictator in the history of the world. You f***ed around, you just found out. Today's heroes, today's cowards. And these are the people that need the absolute maximum political pressure that you can possibly imagine. We need to show up in person. If they don't want to hold a town hall, then we need to walk them wherever they're going. And we need to peacefully let them know that we are so upset that we're willing to follow them wherever they go, so they never, ever feel like they've made the right decision. I'm Adam. This is Buy Nothing. Subscribe and share this video.